Okay, so in this video, we want to give a simple example of the product rule of differentiation with a small additional twist. So we want to find the derivative of the following function with respect to x, and if you notice, we have a difference of two functions, and in the second case there is a product, so we have to use the product rule, but we have to be careful. There is a negative sign before the second function, and so when we differentiate this product using the product rule, we will have a sum of two separate functions, and both must be negated. So we have to be careful about this. Now we know that over a difference of two functions, we can simply differentiate each function individually. The first one is trivial. We simply apply the power rule. So we obtain 8x to the 7, then minus the derivative of the second function. Now here we open a pair of parentheses, and so we apply now the product rule, which says first derivative of the first function, 14x minus 0, so 14x, times the second function, 5x cubed plus 9, and then plus the first function, 7x squared minus 1, times the derivative of the second function, which is 15x squared plus 0. Therefore, 15x squared. So you can see the negative applies to both functions. Before we distribute the negative, notice that each term shares a common factor of x. So we can factor x, and let's see what's left over. So if we take away from x7 an x, we're left with an x6, therefore 8x6. And then I'll also distribute the negative sign on the two terms, so minus. We factored x outside, so we're left with 14 times the cubic polynomial. And then again minus. We took away an x from x squared, so that leaves us with a 15x times the remaining quadratic polynomial. And now if you look at the remaining three terms, there is no other common factor, but what we can do is multiply these two terms out and then regroup similar terms. So minus, so 14 times 5, well, 5 times 4 is 20, 5 times 10, 50, so 70. So negative 70x cubed. Then negative 14 times 9, 9 times 4, 36, 9 times 10, 90, 90 plus 36 is 126. Minus 15 times 7, so that's 35 plus 70, 105. X cubed. And finally negative 15x, negative 1, positive 15x. And if you notice, there are two cubic terms, and they can be regrouped. So negative 70, negative 105, negative 175. A single multiple of x plus 15x, and a single constant, negative 126. And now this leftover polynomial, it's not clear how we can or if we can factor this out, and so we simply leave it like this. So we have now our final answer. And it's worth mentioning in conclusion that we could of course have avoided here the product rule if we had first multiplied these two terms out, then negated, and then we could have differentiated without the product rule. And that's it.